What is going on, you beautiful people? It is Trelli here, bringing you to my first top 7 video that I've ever done on my channel. The first of many, possibly. If you guys do enjoy this type of thing, definitely let me know. The one difficult thing about these type of videos, obviously, is that they're completely subjective. Everyone has their different opinions about, you know, what god they think is the best or the worst. So something that you put on this list might not be on this list. It's something you wouldn't put on this list might be on this list, and that's totally fine. I just want you guys to remember that's my opinion from what I've seen in the GM ranked Joust grind. I've been GM since season 3. It is like season 7 now, so it's been a while. Obviously, I'm not GM currently, but everyone keeps asking me to make this list, and I just started up my ranked Joust grind, so that's what it's gonna be. With that being said, if you guys do enjoy this and would like one for the other classes, if this video hits 1K likes, 1,000 likes, then I will have the top 7 Guardians of Joust up in the next week, so within 7 days of this video. So if you guys do enjoy this, definitely leave a like. But now, what I'm going to be judging these gods on is their damage output, how often they can output that damage, their survivability, and do you have to build a comp around them? Okay, hopefully I didn't stall this intro out too long, so without further ado, here's the top 7 mages in Ranked Joust Season 7. I'm also going to be going over builds very quickly, pretty much just the core items that you can build in any game, but obviously this is Smite, so counter building is the most important thing. You don't want a cookie cutter build that you're going to go every game, because it's not going to always work. But yeah, let's get into it. Number 7.
Merlin.
Okay, number 7 is Merlin, and I highly doubt that anyone is surprised by this, to be honest. This is like one of the few people on the list that I am pretty confident where he is. He is pretty close to being that mage that has everything that you want. You know, he's got pretty good damage, he has pretty good self-PA with his stance switches, great control. His issues are obviously the no CC immunity in his kit, and that his biggest crush is his dash. It's very short, and it has a long cooldown, so it's pretty easy to kill him if you can force that out. But the small bit of CC in his purple stance too, and stance switch could usually do some flashy maneuvers, get you out of some sticky situations. But against like blink double tank, you're probably gonna need some PO for the team, which is why he is only number 7 on the list. A build you can go would be something like this. Rushing full cooldown on Merlin is definitely good because of the long cooldown on his stance switch plus dash. So tier 2 Chronos Pendant into cooldown boots, Divine or Spear of the Magus, whichever one you need. If you don't need Divine, you can just rush the Spear into Soul Raver. Most of the time you're going to need the Divine. And I do just have some defense items on here just that are pretty good for most situations. Most of the time you are going to need either a Mantle, a Magi's if you're facing something like Ares, Wingblade if you're facing a lot of slows, and then Bulwark if you're just getting whomped by, you know, like a Bacchus of some sort. Obviously, you don't need these items, it's just if you're going to buy a little defense. This is going to be working for all of the mages, so I'm only going to leave these defense items here. It could work on any of them, obviously. But yeah, that is number 7, and that's Merlin.
Discordia.
Okay, number 6 on the list is going to be Discordia, and Discordia is one of those gods that you probably have not seen on my channel much because I've really never liked her kit. I try to stray away from the gods that are like pretty easy, and by easy I mean like her 2 is pretty free setup, it's hard to miss ever. You can't really miss her. Well, I'm saying if you hit the 2, you hit the ult, you hit the 1, it's all pretty much confirmed. Her dash is damage immune, meaning you can jump over anything that puts you out of position, and yeah, anyways, keeping those things in mind. The same thing that makes her easy are also what makes her strong. So her passive is insane. If you have a hard carry on the team, it gives like a percentage power boost to whoever has top damage. So if you have like a Medusa, Uller on her, Kali, something like that, then they can hard carry with it, and it really boosts their power. Or she can use it herself if she's fragging. Full cooldown ability spam is going to be the build with her, obviously, because of her 3, it resets her cooldown. So using her apple to cripple the tanks is going to be what you're going to be doing early game, I would say. Her ult is pretty much you just chuck it at, you know, like a Bacchus. If a Bacchus flops you, you can immune his flop with the ult, or a Sobek plucks you, you can immune the pluck with the apple and then throw it at them, and then they get all drunk and they're crippled and start spam taunting and stuff. So that's usually what you're going to go for here. Her flaws are her lack of self-peel if you miss her 2. And even that is not a big deal. She doesn't have many flaws, to be honest. Discordia is pretty all around, and that's like, I don't particularly love her, but she's here because everyone can play her, you get me? Obviously, this build will work on most mages. You're going to see that a lot of the mages, since they've changed pen, are going to have very similar builds. You can throw a Charon's coin in there. I personally don't like it. Obsidian Shard if you're facing too much pen. But Spear of the Magus and Soul Reaver is going to be key on all of these mages. So, yeah, that's going to be Discordia.
Not late to the party, are we?
Okay, number 5 is going to be Chunga, and Chunga is definitely my second favorite mage in the Joust game mode, and probably one of the easiest to first pick without worries of getting countered. She may have a little bit of rough times with like things like Odin, but I personally don't even find that too big of a deal, because even if her healing is like shut down by anti-heal and stuff, it doesn't mess her up too much, because she also her heal functions as a damage ability as well and has anti-heal thrown on it. So if you stack Divine on Chunga, it gives you 90% anti-heal, which some people overlook. Like when she spams it, it shuts down like enemy meditations and you know, like Chalk heal, Achilles heal. I was gonna say, I originally wrote in the script Glad Shield heal, but of course, Glad Shield isn't a thing anymore, so, you know, the things like that, little healings, the life steal even that you wouldn't expect, is always a great time. Doubling on that, you don't even need Aegis on her because she's already really safe, so Blink Chunga is very potent. I usually blink past the tanks when they try to use like a CC ability, like let's say an Athena dash taunts you, you just blink that, and then you just blow your whole kit into the back line, and you can easily 100-0 someone if they don't have Aegis or like any bit of defense, like most carries build that way. So the build for Chunga is a little bit different than all of the other mages. Personally, I always have done this. I've done Mage's Blessing and then Tier 1 Rod of Asclepius, which is going to boost all your healing, obviously, give you a little bit of power and movement speed, and then the health. It's just a pretty stacked item, to be honest. And then cooldown boots, Divine or Spear of the Magus, whichever one you need, obviously, and then Chronos Pendant or Soul Reaver, depending if you think you need the cooldown or the burst early game. Soul Reaver is most likely going to be your play first, and then Chronos Pendant after, just because at that point you don't really have that much damage, so you need that. But after you finish that and you get Blink at level 12, you can pretty much one-shot anyone. So definitely try that out, and make sure you're using your 3 before your 1, because your 3 is a lot faster. If you don't know what I mean, it's just an animation cancel. 3 then 1, not the other way around. It's a lot quicker. But yeah, that would be number 5.
Scylla.
Okay, so number 4 is going to be Scylla, and the first time I wrote the script, I didn't even have Scylla on it, and then I realized that I'm a fucking idiot. And Scylla is probably the safest mage in this game mode, because she has a fantastic escape that can be double as a ward in her 3, and it's also damage immune, meaning that she can immune all damage while she's underground like that. Her poke is nuts, her self-peel is nuts, and her mobility is nuts. Everything about Scylla's kit is honestly just sick in this game mode, and in the game of Smite, period. The only problem with her used to be that her early game was rough, but if you rush Bancrofts into boots, and then you don't even need Spear of the Magus, honestly, because once you hit level 9, you get you max your 2, and then you get extra pen on it and everything, and you just start chunking people. Her poke hits people from like 3 to 500 depending on their procs at about like 8 minutes, and you just start spamming everything. It's truly disgusting what you can do with this character. Poly on her is also very sick, because you can just hit them with their 1, hit the poly, then the 2, and then your burst starts to get into disgusting levels. The only problems with Scylla can be it's pretty easy to waste her ult, because it's easy to immune it, it's easy to juke it, unless you have good setup. You know, maybe if you guys are just learning, combo her with your Kumbas and your Najas, wait for them to hit the ground, hit them with the Scylla ult after that. It's always free kills, but you should be looking for less obvious ults once you get into like the Plat Diamond area. Look for like a Sobek knockup or an Achilles one. These are going to be less obvious combos that people won't be expecting as much. You should definitely look for something like that to combo your Scylla with. Obviously though, at the lower ranks, your Naja and Kumba pretty much works 100% of the time. So try that out. Try these builds with her, and yeah, that's Scylla.
Thoth.
Okay, number 3 is going to be Thoth. And Thoth, I assume, is an obvious pick for most of you. In all my top videos, people say that Thoth is the most annoying mage to deal with, and I agree. I think that Thoth is the most annoying mage to deal with from the perspective of other mages, because he's always going to outrange you, and he's always going to outpoke you, and if he's playing well, you can keep people in combat, so it's hard to even blink on them. But if you get your tanks to blink on him before or while his 1 is down, that's going to be your best bet with dealing with Thoth. But anyways, this isn't about dealing with Thoth. This is about talking about how sick Thoth is. Obviously, one of my favorite gods. He can constantly charge his ult to bait out like Aegises and escapes for the lesser skilled players who can't react with an Aegis in time. Also with full cooldown, he can dash across the lane every 8 seconds, which is also still a root and can also be used as clear or, you know, to self-peel gods that can't stick to him. So that is also disgusting. But the one problem with Thoth, which is why he's not like a number 1 or number 2 pick, is the fact that his self-peel is awful, as I've just mentioned. The Fenrirs of the world, there's nothing Thoth can do about that. Like a Fenrir 3, he has no way of interrupting it, he just has to eat the whole thing pretty much. Any high damage melee god near him will just melt him pretty much as long as you are playing around his dash, so that is definitely a good time. Your playstyle as Thoth is definitely going to be keep your distance and spam your 1. That's pretty much how everyone plays him. With the changes to pen in Season 7, flat pen is all you need on him pretty much until you get a Soul Reaver, which is just meta on everyone. The Spear of the Magus Rush and Divine Rush are going to be your plays. Chronos Pendant is also going to be obvious because the more you hit your 1, the less cooldown it is. If you have that 1 and you consistently hit it, it's like, I think, a 3-second cooldown at max rank, which is just the most annoying thing out there. Don't be the people that get Gem of ISO on Thoth. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying it's not bad. It's just super annoying. Don't be that person. He doesn't need it. He's already annoying as is. His one issue, besides the self-peel, is his lack of CC immunity. With a proper playstyle, you can pretty much just keep the tanks in combat with Blink. So they can't actually blink on you, and then by the time you're done spamming, they can't even dive you anymore. So I don't think anyone's going to be disagreeing with my placement on this one. He's pretty much top pick, top ban whenever I play, besides these 2 mages that are in front of him. I'll play real quick. We're going to throw in 2 honorable mentions, not any gameplay or builds to go with them. I'll just briefly talk about them because, you know, I felt like these are the 2 mages that'll probably get commented about the most. Number 1 is going to be Vulcan.
Vulcan.
You guys knew I had to put my boy in here somewhere. Vulcan has amazing control, great self-peel, consistent damage. You could even remove his ult and his damage is still nuts. Like, Vulcan is one of my, if not my favorite god to play in this game mode, but I couldn't confidently put him above any of these other characters just because of how important CC immunity is. And range. You know, he doesn't really have those things. His ult is honestly pretty useless. Like, Vulcan ult is going to just be juked or jumped over. Like, Vulcan ult is pretty bad. So, that is another thing. And also how much cripples shut him down. Like, your RDOs and your Ares of the world, they are just going to completely shut down his main form of damage. I just can't, like, I couldn't confidently put a Vulcan over a Merlin with how much better space control and escape potential he has. Obviously, if you are going to go Vulcan, though, Divine is going to be a must. Soul Reaver, Soul Gem, Doom Orb, Charon's Coin. All of these items are going to help him out because he has a lot of, he gets a lot of buffs from movement speed. So things like that. The usual build, honestly, and then a Magi's if you are facing an Ares. So yeah, that's Vulcan. And then the second honorable mention is going to be the Morgan. Again, I think the Morgan and the Vulcan will probably be the 2 most commented about mages in this list, and the Morgan is definitely one I could argue to be on here for sure. But the one thing that I have a problem with her is that she's only as good as the comp that she can turn into. So basically, if you have like a broken combo, like a double Yamoja, a double Ares, double Daji, then yeah, she can be like nuts. But also, if we're judging on like the ability to hard carry on her own, which is what one of the things I said at the beginning of the video that I would be judging on, she does need a good comp or to be facing a good comp. And without her ult, if she's facing a good comp, she's probably getting shit on. So I think she's great, just shy of being on the list. Full cooldown or even tanky is a good way to build Morgan. I'm not going to put a full build for her though. You guys, I have a few videos on her if you want to watch those, so definitely check those out. But yeah, that's the second honorable mention. And now we are on to the top 2 spot. And I'm assuming you guys knew the second you clicked on this video that you knew these 2 gods would be here. It's possible you didn't know the order, and you probably might disagree with the order. But number 2 is going to be
Persephone.
Persephone. Now, obviously, the top 1 spot is always going to be debated, and people are going to, you know, love to disagree with me, and I accept all of your disagreements, so feel free to throw those in the comments. That's fine with me. But Persephone has some of the best poke in the game, besides Thoth, obviously. And she's relatively new. Most people do not know how to play around her flowers and shit, so good players can juke them, but if you lock them down with the ult or slow them with the 2, then it's even hard to juke the flowers then. But bad players will just walk into the flowers. Like, they have no idea how to play around them. That's why, this is why she's banned, because people really don't know how to play against her. If you don't know how to play her yourself, you probably can't face her. So Persephone is definitely something that people just do not want to deal with, so that's why she gets banned so much. Obviously, the full cooldown rush is what I've been going on her, and what everyone pretty much goes on her. The starting Chronos Pendant, get that Divine Online ASAP, and then get Soul Reaver, and then just start spamming. You max your 2, and I mean, you guys know Persephone. I don't have to talk too much about Persephone. She's just disgusting. There's a reason she's banned. She's very strong. You're pretty much going to be ulting tanks exclusively early game just to lock them down, because it's like they don't have enough attack speed to break out of the vines, so you can just shit on them early for free picks. And then late game, you just auto your plants for like half people's health, and you know, you guys know Persephone, so obviously that's number 2 on the list, and I wonder who number 1's gonna be.
Bro.
Okay, yeah. Number 1's Hebo. I mean, again, every single time I make a tier list, or any single time I make anything to do with this game mode, people try to question my judgment about putting Hebo as the best maid in this game mode. And, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but I don't. Because if you've watched my videos, like, you don't need this explained to you. He's the easiest god to hard carry with in this game mode, period. Like, even from behind, you can shit on him all game, and if you let him get to level 12, he will kill your carries without, like, you can't peel it. There's nothing you can do if he knocks you up and waits for your Aegis to run out. Okay, so here's your 2 options, right? Hebo blinks in, knocks you up. You either pre-Aegis it, and your Aegis runs out midair, and you still get ulted. Or, you beads it, and somehow juke his ult, which you shouldn't, because he's not gonna miss it. Like, it's just... I just think that he's the easiest god to solo carry with in this game mode. Bancrofts, Typhons, Soul Reaver, Spear of the Magus, Blink, Beads, or Blink, Aegis, whichever one you need, and then you just kill. Like, I understand, I do understand that he's easy to dive early game, and trust me, that's the only time when he's killable. Like, before level 5, and then he has a little bit of rough time engaging until level 12. You can definitely shut him down. No one on this game, like, no one on this whole list is unbeatable, but I think that Hebo is easier to use than Persephone and can carry harder than Persephone. I do think that a good Persephone can carry harder than Hebo, but I think a bad Hebo can carry harder than a good Persephone, if that makes sense. Not a great Persephone, but you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, this has been this has been my top 7 mages in Joust. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. It was a little bit all over the place. It's hard for me to really sit down and record these. I'm working on it. I promise I'll get better. So thank you guys so much for sitting through this. If you did enjoy, definitely leave a like. If you agreed or disagreed, definitely drop it in the comments. And obviously, if this video hits 1,000 likes, I'll have top 7 Guardians up within the week. So, yeah, just Trelli, guys. Peace.